So yeah, anyways, welcome to the to this new series that we're starting, and you're actually our first guest in this series. So wanted to really kind of give you a warm welcome and welcome you on to our YouTube channel, our HistoryDAO YouTube channel. It's great to be here with you today.
Thank you, Sky, for inviting me. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, so let me just tell everybody a little bit about the purpose of this HistoryDAO Founder Dialogue series. First off, I'm HistoryDAO co-founder Sky, and the purpose of the series is to have in-depth discussions with leaders in the NFT industry. And so we'll focus on history, current situations, future applications, and developments of the NFT field. So yeah, with the emergence of the NFT industry and the hot development recently, lots of quality projects and platforms have come about, and obviously, Element is a huge key piece of that. The number one trading platform on the BNB chain in terms of trading volume and number of users, highly acclaimed for product features and concept. We've heard a lot about you in the space already. So yeah, I wanted to welcome you officially, C, and just ask if you're kind of ready to get into it. We'll just go into some topics.
Sure, totally. Yeah. NFT marketplace is very popular right now, and all the, even though it's a bear market, we have made a great success. So kind of, I mean, so if you are answering something about NFT marketplace, how to run that, and our opinion about the NFT projects and NFT, the future, I'm willing to answer that. Yeah. Thank you again.
Awesome. Yeah. Okay. Let's get started then.
Okay.
So yeah, a lot of us, recognize and know Element, but maybe not all of us know how fast you have been growing, especially like in the last 5 months. I think I saw 50,000 plus users, total users, which is amazing. That's awesome. That's a great milestone. So congratulations on that. And I was just wondering if you could kind of introduce, your team and the founders, and tell us a little bit more about Element.
Okay. Thanks for you mentioned that about, in the kind of we have spent like 5 months, difficult time because we have a global team. It's hard to management the time zone also. And also it needs great updates on also products and also the community volunteers. You have to manage a lot of stuff. So yeah, it is difficult, but glad we made it. Actually, about the team, we only have like 20 to 30 people, about full-time employers, I mean R&D and community team. So like most of them, like 100 people, like hundreds, I mean really is separated from Asia, from Japan, like countries like Japan, Singapore, and also Australia and also United States. So it's kind of a difficult community group to manage, but we really have a lot of people. But about the founding team, actually, I want to introduce a very important guy. He is Fried. He's the CEO and the founder of Element. Talking to his experience, I think most of people may know he's really popular from Web 1, even Web 2 and Web 3. So in the past of the time, he has worked for Kingsoft. Kingsoft, is the only competitor of Microsoft in China, and he worked for 10 years and has nearly this time. I think most 90% of the users are using WPS on mobile, so they have made a great success. And his first entrepreneur was a gaming company, which is called LineCon. Went to IPO in Hong Kong in 2014, and at that period of time, Animal brand is kind of a competitor for them. So it's a gaming. Yeah. And at that time, it's more than 10,000 of gaming company in China. So he has made a great success. Yeah. And in 2018, he entered in blockchain industry. It was 5 years ago, right? So since then, he opened a company called Speed, who is doing media. And at that period of time, he has talked with Vitalik, like Gavin Wood, and also CJ, and also Sam, and also like the founder of, I forgot the name, the founder of the DeFi, the most popular DeFi MakerDAO. Yeah, Rooney came into Beijing.
Oh, right.
For a great dinner. Yeah, like
wow.
So we talk a lot of people to doing what is Web3 and what is happening, starting in a real early stage from DeFi, from even mining to DeFi to NFT marketplace. So since last year, NFT became more popular, and also we see the users patient to in this industry, and we see the transition. So Fred just said, why not we do NFT marketplace? So under that of the pleasure and also community making, so we do this NFT marketplace. And we have also founder, his name is Will, co-founder Will. He's in charge of the whole technology and the whole smart contract and so the coding team. And because of him, we have a very quick updated on futures, and people can use that, can use experience that. So yeah, it's kind of like a stronger, strong product team, and with lots of people, we work more than like 3 to 5, even 10 years together. So we have strong trust. Yeah, it's kind of like that kind of a team. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Hearing about, Fred's background, it makes me think back to, like DeFi being so big, blowing up in 2019 and 2020. But yeah, it seems like last year, 2021 was really the year for NFTs. And so it seems like you definitely got into it at a great point. So maybe let me ask a little bit more about Element itself and the NFT marketplace. Awesome. Yeah. So when your team decided to do an NFT marketplace, you had known about OpenSea at that point. They weren't as big as they are now, but they were the largest by market share, and OpenSea kind of took over at first. But it was in August you launched the first version of Element, right? And also OpenSea at that time was kind of taken off. So I guess maybe like what are some of the biggest differences for users that aren't really aware of what Element does versus what OpenSea does, and what do you think kind of makes the difference there?
Okay, actually, since last year, we want to do an NFT marketplace. It was in March or April. At that period of time, OpenSea is big, but it's not that kind of big, right? It is because in August and October, they strong very fast. So during that time, NFT is booming, and also we got some ISA from like Amazon, from eBay, from Taobao, Taobao, right? So we have China has very strong like internet and e-commerce companies. So we kind of think, even though NFT does not have too much category at that time, people just think artwork can do NFTs and they can transfer and selling on blockchain. But actually, when they're going back even now, we see there are so many categories than artwork, than even PFPs. Even though at that period of time, Body Ape is people get no idea what kind of the collection is, right? It looks like this, and he's only have like 10,000 pieces. So why people need that? But actually, he went a great success. So in that period of time, people can know NFT has great future, and is nearly like the same. It's the first application people can see that it's totally different, only than finance, only than capital. It's more than arts, and more than people can play with it. So that is the difference. So I want to talk about that. OpenSea actually has great successful and has a great team to do in a very early time to do an NFT marketplace. But most of them and most of the ISA, when you open their website, you can see there's still more better and services for PFPs and artworks. But we are not. We have full category than domain names, PFPs, and also even CC0 collection. It may have a great booming in the future. And also we do gaming very well on BNB chain. We have multi-chain, and the chains have different features. It's not only we only believe artwork and NFTs can go and work. So when we choose different chain, we actually choosing different NFT categories. So that is kind of thing we do different. And if you see right now in the second stage, we do a very full customized category for domain names. When you compare to all of the marketplace, even the domain name marketplace, we do even better than them. And in the very near future, we will support users could mint your domain name. If you choose one, your special one, you can mint on our website, and you can link the address and domain names. And if using the domain names, you can check in all the artworks and all you can transfer, do all of this with Support related to your UIDs. So I see the difference between OpenSea and Element is, first of all, we do more modified categories, and we really do it since very early time. We believe in different chains and different categories. And second thing is, we also do full of tools that OpenSea cannot give you. I mean, really trading tools, you using it, but very efficient and very save your time and money. So you can try this. It's totally different. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, it's really such a great project, and I think we share some things in common where our projects are very community driven and user driven first. And I think with the new age of NFTs and what we're looking at in the future of NFTs, I think a lot of it will be user generated content. So I think it's awesome what you're doing compared to what OpenSea is doing. And obviously, everything begs that comparison, but Element has a great name for itself. So I just wanted to stop real quick to double check. Question. I think you mentioned, what are the big differences, or what sets you guys apart? I guess, like, more specifically, what specific feature or features do you think really makes the difference? And what do you think you've kind of like, what innovations have you made, and what features have you come up with that really just kind of put Element on top of the pack?
Okay, actually, I think it's not kind of a single function that make users to convenient to buy. And most importantly, if you take NFT as a future and a very great important entrance to Web3, you have to do a lot of preparations for user to buy quick and to trade it. Without at the first beginning, we say NFT, they are NFT collectors, which means you want an NFT to use like a PFP, like a avatar or anything in your social media life. But we cannot stop. There's a trending that NFT is also a kind of assets that people want to store, want to buy, and also want to sell in. So in that period of time, I mean now, NFT trading tools is very important. So we provide a multiply of tools which can users buy multi-buy and multi-sell, and even purchase and even swap mode, you can buy like 100 like NFT pieces at one time. And also we do the interfacing ultimate that you can do it only one time, so it's very fast and very useful to do this. For example, if you want to buy an NFT like under maybe some like 1 ETH price, like a body app, I know it could not happen, but why not? I just want to try. So every NFT, every BFSC holders will receive the price, I mean. So one day, if it was selling out, and we don't know what will happen in the future, right? So one day he want to sell it, then I will buy it. So this is totally different. I say there are also kind of different ways to do besides byte. Byte is an easy thing to do. You want to take off for like 0.5 ETH and 1 ETH, but you want to have more functions. You have to meet the users like needs to do this. And also I want to introduce a very fun like trading tools is when you click the futures, like you open a collection, you want to choose like Azuki, take an example, you want to buy for you and buy for your friends and buy for your family, even if you have buy 3 or 4. You just need to click the picture, click, then you can add to your cart and you can finish the buy. So it's very convenient. And if you want to cancel your order before, because I mentioned I want 1 ETH body ad, but someday I was so, well, I was stupid. How could we just sell me, right? I just want to cancel, and I want to cancel other orders. I just go to my wallet, and there's a cancellation for all the listing orders, so I can cancel all. So kind of the choose, which is very efficient. This is the first thing I need to tell. And the second thing is maybe it's the trading fee, right? If you're a trader, you will care about the fees. Like since OpenSea opening their market, the fee is 2.5. Actually, it's super high when the asset is super valuable, like body app, like multi app, right? So we change the market fee under to 0.5, and also including the lowest gas fee. I will introduce you later why the gas fee is so low. So gas fee is also a very important fee you interface with blockchain. We do it very low in Ethereum, so that's make huge difference. And this is second thing, the fee cost. And the third thing I think very important for users is the data. You want to tracking for data, right? OpenSea and many other marketplace, they only tracking the data on their marketplace, which is not by whole chain. So you cannot see all the buyers and sales and all the listing and well listings from marketplace. But from our marketplace, you can just open it. You go for the ranking. It's for real time and it's a whole tracking data on chain. I mean, whole. It's not only for our marketplace. So this is whole different. Yeah. So back to that data and multiply trading tools and also the cost tradable fee, right? Like a low cost fee, I think it's very important for all trading users. Yeah, and that we were doing right now.
Yeah, the whole system and model is really incredible, and I think you touched on it really well. You know, from reading through the white paper, you know, features like kind of like sharing liquidity between NFT marketplaces is able to help, you know, keep transaction fee costs down, and is able to, you know, like, you know, have more interoperability or, you know, more users totally on the platform. And I think to your first point, like, not only is it amazing that you're like an aggregator of these NFT marketplaces and your own NFT marketplace, you're able to keep transaction fees low, but also it sounds like you're incorporating all these like really solid like e-commerce style, you know, innovations in the way that users interact with a web page. You know, how quickly you can get to the features or the buy button that you need. You know, how many clicks does it take? You know, how much can you reduce that time to buy? And then you also mentioned on top of that, you know, kind of bringing in some kind of like financing, some DeFi kind of stuff with futures, and, you know, with, you know, it's kind of setting market orders with the prices for what you want to buy for. Those are just, I think, a lot of features that the users are going to really appreciate, and especially users that kind of want to scale or want to, you know, really kind of take it to the next level of their NFT game.
Yeah, thank you, Sky. Thank you for well understanding us. Yes, it's truly what we need to do and we want to do. Yeah, definitely.
Well, then I know you mentioned gas fees, and that's something I wanted to get into as well. So I know gas fees, and I hear a lot of people talk about this about Element, is that the gas fees just end up really super low. And for me, using the platform personally, you know, I went and tested it out as well, and I had the same experience. You know, it was seamless, it was low cost. How do you do it?
Okay, it's a little bit complicated. So, but I will try, you know, I will try my better to explain why it costs so very low. So we did three things. We did three things to make the gas fee very low. The first thing, we have to speed out the performance of contract iteration, which has been each transaction like buying and selling, you have to do on chain, right? So we do the performance of the whole contract, selling contract, more easier to interface. Then the cost fee, the gas fee is very low. So what we do in this part of thing, you know, all the Ethereum or EVM chain is written by Solidity, right? But in order to try lower the gas fee, we actually use some assembly coding language, which is very old. It's like 0101, this kind of thing, to interface your computer directly. So that's what we think to do. The second thing, yeah, it's very impressive. And the second thing is we split the two kind of contracts. The most useful contract is ERC 721, and one is ERC 115, right? So when we combine these two contracts, the rolling fee, the possession fee, and the waiting time is very long. So we do it, one thing is split it in two contracts, and we can read the different contract by different paths. So the entry functions such as buy, sell, and basic, and other advanced features which make it more easier to do this. So we do a more, you know, better category that based on the smart contract tab. So this is the second thing we do. And the third thing is, you know, some of the order states is when you list an order, actually is stored off chain. So when you read it, it's actually stored in a central government system. So we do is we split the order status in binary bus. So it's only actually mentioned only 0101. So by this kind of way, we can do the order structure when it's happening to some multiplex bit by bit. So the slots are reduced to improve the efficiency. I mean, the same thing or the repeat one, we cut it down to most simple one. So this is basically the three stuff we have done to cut down the gas fee. It looks a little bit complicated, but if you are a developer guy, you will know it perfectly. So just three ways I can mention again. The first thing is relatively advanced processing in reduction transition cost. And second thing is the calculation reduction rate and improving storage efficiency. And second thing is the repeated ones, we cut it off. Just understand as simple as I can try. Yeah, it's not too difficult. Yeah, if you're a coding guy.
Technically minded. Yeah, I mean, my little brief history with JavaScript probably doesn't get me as far as assembly, but at least I know what assembly is. You know, I think it's really cool to hear you talk about that, because seeing development in this space is really fascinating, and dealing with, you know, on-chain transactions and dealing with different blockchains and different, you know, smart contract standards. You know, depending on a lot of different factors, it can take a little bit of extra time, and coming up with, you know, innovative ways to solve that, and, you know, either speed up time or lower transaction costs or gas fee costs, I think is really great. I know, you know, some gamified projects are doing similar things with sort of like, you know, running code in the background while the game is, you know, just playing to you visually, so you think it's happening in real time, but, you know, everything's been run within an instant, you know, in the backend system. And so, you know, kind of a merger between like what goes on chain with the gamified project, or what stays off chain, you know, in a centralized server, because running, you know, every single transaction, every single movement, every single function on chain just would be much too slow. So I think there is kind of, yeah, some interesting, you know, kind of balance and innovation going on in the space, and I will have to get our tech team on to talk with your tech team one day, and maybe we can do a whole tech series for
I think you have already
space.
totally understand this guy. You are a smart guy. Yeah.
That's too much. That's saying too much. But it's great to have you on and talk and hear about, you know, everything that you guys have going on. You're very intelligent, very knowledgeable. So, I mean, that being said, I've got a few more questions for you if you're down.
Okay, sure.
Okay. So I kind of brought this up earlier, and it's one of the, you know, the main things you see when you look into the documentation for the Element project, and I've seen also some interesting things going on with shared liquidity and DeFi as well. So I wanted to kind of ask you about the liquidity problem with NFT marketplaces, and how you have come up with solutions for that problem.
Okay. That's a good question. So, you know, the differences between DeFi and NFT marketplace. I mean, DeFi is, you can see, is a decentralized exchanges. I mean, I supposedly we can mention that. So the difference is, if you want to see Bitcoin, take an example, they have $2,100 million one pieces. I mean, but compared to collections like Zodiac, they only have 10K. I mean, this very light, you know, pieces when you're considering it's all assets. So different is, if you want to do an NFT marketplace, the first thing and priority is to solving the liquidity. You can buy. The liquidity means you can buy and you can sell. You can buy all the listings and you can sell very quick, right? Since there's more raising marketplace, rather than OpenSea, there's a lot raising like Sudo, like Genie, and also Chaochu and also Luxra, right? There are more listing outside than OpenSea. So I mean is that the first thing we should do to solve the liquidity is we aggregated all listing orders from different marketplace, from OpenSea, from Luxra, from any others, even any other popular marketplace. I mean, so there's a listing. That's the first thing we do to make our users can buy any NFT listing outside. So the second thing is you want to selling it, right? You finally start very quick. What do we do? Well, if you click the wallet and if you choose an NFT you want to selling, you can see from Element, you can selling cross to Element, cross to OpenSea, cross to Lux. So we did it the whole aggregated from selling and buying in one step, in one access. That is Element. So the liquidity, I mean, is a small group of people were using that. and the authors is all listing. It's not the body app. It's have a lot of collections from Japanese, from Taiwanese, from any other places, and some of the collection even actually you cannot buy in OpenSea. You know there are some collections and regions are restricted by OpenSea, right? So what we do is we gather all the collections together, and we can make users to buy and sell very quick. So this is very important step we do compared to 1.0. In this period of time, we call it 2.0. We do our own marketplace. Both we do aggregated marketplace. So it's aggregated order from all the parts. This is a trending. I think more and more companies we want to do aggregated. And we see another solution at Studio. I bet you know Studio Swap, right? They also do NFT marketplace. In that kind of way, they provide, they kind of like an MA marketplace that you want to sell and you want to buy, you set a price you want to do. But even though like that kind of market, I do not say it is whole 100% adjusted to NFT marketplace. But that kind of way, we need also to take a small marketplace, we need to do aggregated. So that is the difference. I've even talked with the founder from Studio. Yeah, there will be nice one day it happen. You can really buy any types of NFT from our marketplace. This is the second thing we need to do for the liquidity in this period of time.
So maybe can I ask a follow-up question just to clarify a little bit, because I'm trying to understand how this all works as an NFT aggregator site. So let's say someone is listing their whatever NFT on a third-party marketplace, whether it's OpenSea or Lurksquare or something like that. So that NFT is already on chain. That NFT data is on chain. When they list it on that NFT marketplace and they list a selling price for that NFT, is that also data that goes on chain, or how are you able to like pull that information and aggregate that information onto the element marketplace?
Okay, you have a good question. So like NFT marketplace, they're part of the orders are listing because of the gas fee from Ethereum is super high. So some of the listing orders is off chain. So if you do off-chain, it's kind of like the Web2 tech work you need to do. It's like you have to gather from the orders from other marketplaces. First thing you need to ask whether if they want to do this. So this is the first priority we do. And the second thing is the technique you're tracking all the order listings. They will provide you a key to do this. So this is off-chain layers. But some of them, like on-chain data, is another thing. On-chain data is all the data since the collection is mint. Some people just put the picture, store it in Filecoin, and also the data is all chain, on-chain. You can track from, Etherscan or anywhere to do the tools. So this is kind of data is on-chain. The on-chain data, we're just tracking from on-chain. We do not need any permission from any marketplace. We just do it. So there's two different parts. The first one, on-chain data, we do from our dev team, and this is all open source on chain, right? And the second thing is off-chain orders. We have to ask them about themselves if they are willing to do. If they're willing to do it, get it better. So why not? Why not? You have a great access. We have like daily users like 20,000 to 50,000 right now in this period of time. So they're willing to share their API for us because we do not to charge zero fee and also to help them to selling goods. So this kind of way we work right now.
Yeah, I mean that kind of exposure and that kind of liquidity and that kind of community is crucial for any NFT project. So I can imagine lots of NFT projects and NFT marketplaces would be happy to work together with Element.
Yeah, thank you for doing this. Yeah.
yeah, it's really neat what you're doing over there. Let me ask it kind of a different question about maybe NFTs a little bit more specifically, getting into kind of like let's say NFT categories, what NFTs are like now, what NFTs are going to look like in the future. And I won't make them so broad as that. I'll kind of be a little bit more specific, but
okay.
So I guess we see like a lot of collections get popular over 2021, like NFT collections, right? So that was kind of the norm. When you launched an NFT collection, you launched a collection of 1,000, 10,000, maybe more NFTs. You had a hot launch, and then you just kind of saw what happened from there. Users traded those collections, things like that. But recently, so like profile picture style NFTs got really hot in 2021. recently, do you think things have changed? Do you think some of the interest in profile picture NFTs has waned? And if so, I guess what is kind of taking its place? What's happening now?
Okay. That's also a good question. You can see the trending of the NFT market is is kind of different. Back into this period of time, like 1 or 2 months, you can see the dominant names is very popular right now. In the old period of time, we only got ENS, which is the .eth, is also provided by a very popular team right now. But like but the word is that there are so many chains. There's many chains, no more than Ethereum, not than Ethereum, and also there are some dot name even can trans chains. There's a name called .bit. The name is bit. It's not .eta, .polygon, .bnb, right? It's .bit. So behind of this name, they can do dominant names multi-chain and do it even better. So there's a new ideas booming out. I can see it's only the past 2 months, the dominant name is great. It's just impressive, increasing. So most of like 80 or 90% of the trading volume actually is from dominant name. So it's very, very popular. But based on this information, I have to mention that, have you read the Vitalik paper of the DID ecosystem? It's called a decentralized identified ecosystem on-chain. So back on this, actually domain name is only the first step. I mean, it's maybe not the first step. You have to go to PFP, but PFP is the avatars can also use off-chain. You can use on Twitter, on DC, in anywhere place, right? Instagram also. So, but the on-chain dominant is only for U-chain, it's only for Web3. So all the DID ecosystem is all can be showed in NFT. So it's different category. For example, I take an example. If you have already got your domain name to connect it with your address, so you can transfer your money, transfer your ETH to another one just called Kali.eth or Kali303 ETH, right? It's very simple.
Yeah.
And right now, maybe Kali just want to have like another different type of NFT to show herself. Like, I am a younger girl. I'm cute. And I'm funny. They can see the labels is also kind of NFTs. There are some of guys want to launch that. So it's different kind of NFTs we can see from the whole DID ecosystem. You can see it's DID. Everyone has this ecosystem on, have an identified system on chain. But also behind of that, you can see the socialism and the social fun on chain as grow material by NFT. So you can see not only this kind of DIDs ecosystem, you can also see gaming NFTs. We do very well on BNB chain by gaming, because gaming NFTs, you can have type of the ground, you can have a house, you can have weapon, you have addresses, all the type of NFTs. You can see in a gaming ecosystem, there are too many NFTs you can run. And gaming NFTs want to launch at the first time on marketplace. So on the one side is gaming, and other side is DID ecosystem. We can see so more than one type of NFT is booming out in a very quick of time. In off time, people just know NFT is this. It's artwork. It's for an avatar. But in the very near future, it's more fulfilled in the future. Yeah, that's what we are going to do to support all of this.
Yeah, and I think I'm more familiar with gaming NFTs, gamified NFTs, and but I have been hearing a lot of buzz about domain name and decentralized identity. And I was even hearing recently about there's like the 0 to 100 club in ENS, and there's also like a 0 to 1,000 club. So if you're like if you have one of those, one.ENS, obviously you have a very valuable name. I also heard recently that somebody put in an offer to buy Amazon.ENS for Amazon.ETH for about $1 million in Ethereum. So maybe these big Web2 tech companies are looking to get into it. Maybe it was somebody else just speculating on it, trying to make a
would love to. It's kind of creativeness we can see from always happening in NFT sets, really, because it's related to human life. So yeah,
absolutely. Well, I guess we'll see, what happens. I think, NFTs have a lot more utility, and now it's not necessarily what I expected, but I think we always kind of thought, identity could be linked to NFTs, but domain names kind of, I think, took a lot of people by surprise. But yeah, maybe we'll see more and more use cases. I imagine we will for NFTs.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Um, so
So, okay. I want to kind of switch tracks a little bit before we get to the last final questions about sort of the the direction of NFTs and the NFT markets currently. I want to talk about a little bit about CC0. Um,
oh,
and
I see.
yeah. So CC0 having been used by a lot of projects and being, I guess, somewhat controversial. I guess maybe could you kind of help us understand CC0 a little bit better initially, and then also we noticed the compilation area on the Elements site, the CC0 compilation area. I guess, what do you think CC0, what kind of impact is it going to have on the NFT industry, or what impact does it have now? So yeah, that is kind of a long-winded question, but let me know if you're lost in anything.
Okay, sure. About CC0, yeah, we actually we set this CC link category, CC0 category on our website. So to make people to more easier to find them, find the whole CC0 collections. That's the first thing we do on the website on the product side. But what we do is behind that, we really believe CC0 could make some different things happen because we have seen something. And there really have different opinions about that. Someone says that if the creator want to launch this kind of NFT, he just want to manage them. He want to give all the pressure and ability to hold his community. But kind of, I do not think it's like that way. I mean, it's true that the creator want the community have more rights to do with NFTs, but I take it as a privilege. What kind of privilege? There are so many ways to launch, on-chain, or we call it so many pieces of versions to make it happen in real world. So you have the privilege to do so. If the NFT holder, if the NFT creator do not do this, you have no privilege. You can just have an NFT on chain as an avatar. But he launched as a CC0, then you can have the 100% privilege to run as this NFT. You can do it like a logo, like elements on the real world. Like we have seen like the BVSC beers, and we have seen like motherfuckers bars, and even their clothes, and even any kinds of goods, coffee cup in totally different kinds of way. So if you have the ability to open the rights to your community, I think communities will be booming. So there are always some talents want to do something. If the design is good, and if you have a very active group of people to running on that, you can see so many BVSC and so many yoga labs come behind us. But it's booming by the community, but not only the creator side. So we think it's kind of a way you can do double created by CC0 NFT, and also you can do commercial thing, commodity and business style behind this. This is a huge potential I can see from this. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think there's kind of like two different ideas in branding when it comes to marketing and branding. Do you try to control the branding, the exact branding of your product, of your, maybe your NFT collection, or your whatever your IP is, or do you kind of let people create derivatives and let it spread further and create, more of a wider range of a community? I think companies have battled back and forth on this for a long time, and I guess it'll be exciting to see, you guys being so close to all these different NFT collections. You'll have to let us know what kind of direction people go in, and how kind of regulation works too. I guess maybe we'll see more and more regulation in the space as far as using copyrights, and as far as regulators want to look into it. But I guess we'll see what happens.
Yeah, definitely. So using by CC0, there are no copyright thing. There's no
Yeah,
regulation and legal stuff. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
So you
That
go. Do you have buy any, CC0 collection, Sky? You personally?
No, I haven't actually. I've just been looking into it recently. So,
Okay.
what about you? Have you?
Yeah, I have one. I have and Morpher and also Moonburst. I hold a period of time. But before they said we are CC0, I sold it out. So yeah, I appreciate they were so early. Right? Okay.
Yeah, that was good timing. Good for you. Yeah, good timing. Yeah, I know, people really love those collections and the CC0 collections. And I talk to a lot of people in the space that really do have a love for those projects. So I get it. I definitely get it.
Yeah, totally.
Okay, next question. We're almost to the end, so let me try to wrap it up a little bit here. We're coming up on an hour. I don't want to take too much more of your time, but we really appreciate, all the awesome wisdom and cool stuff you shared with us about Element so far.
Okay, thank you.
So lots of different use cases for NFTs recently, lots of maybe different sectors for NFTs. Where next? And I know we talked about domain names a little bit. I know we talked about DID a little bit. What else do you think? What's for NFTs in the future?
Oh, in the future, wow, how big is the future? How long is the future? It's a big question. It's really a big question, but I think if you considering to 3 to 5 years, NFTs in Web3, people will use to that to have the whole DID, I mean, some part of ecosystem to launch by NFT ways. So more and more, so in this point of view, more and more will have NFTs. So definitely. And second thing, we mentioned about the CC0, and we mentioned about like domain names and also different type of NFTs. I think they will have the ability to do something to interface with Web2 and the physical world. And I think I have already seen some of that part. So I can see an NFT is kind of a string thing. It's very younger, but it's combined the whole stuff you can imagine together. The left hand is art. The right hand is financial, and also if you think bigger, it's about the community, it's about the funds, it's about the brands, it's about the marketing, commercial stuff. So I think it's a definitely choose. I can see more and more Web2 people, which we call they're very popular companies. They're very popular. They come very popular stuff, and also store even brand. They have jumped into the NFT world. They launch their NFT. And the second way you can see that NFT also can combining the top brands also. So there's complicated situation we can discuss, but the real future I can even touch is that people really need this kind of stuff, and they will have a very good taste, and also even including of exhibition and anything physical included, we will more booming often in the real world, I mean. So yeah, you can take it as an FT application, but application not only on-chain, but also off-chain.
Awesome. Yeah, I really like that take, and I have some similar thoughts myself. And I think NFTs have a lot of connotations, and a lot of things come to mind when people hear the word NFT. But what we're talking about is, a series of digits, a series of numbers and letters that kind of uniquely identify something, right? So, if those unique identifiers are recognized by governments, they can be used for identity, they can be used for personal records, medical records. There's all sorts of interesting use cases in the physical world, and so I think it's cool you brought that up, because I agree, and I really think NFTs will kind of infiltrate all of the companies and industries that we know in a lot of different ways too. Sometimes it'll be for commercial purposes, and sometimes it'll be for maybe structured purposes. But it's exciting. It's an exciting space to be in.
Okay. Okay, thank you, Sky, for all of your multiple questions. You get it make me feel that you have well known of NFT industry, marketplace, and all kind of categories. Booming, yeah.
If I can understand a tenth as much as you see, then I will be happy with myself. So
No, you have not, yeah.
Learned more and more today. So thanks for sharing everything.
Thank you.
I guess let me ask one last question, and maybe let me preface it by kind of telling people a little bit about what we do at HistoryDAO. And I guess the kind of the pitch is this: we at HistoryDAO record history and current events as history NFTs, and basically what that means is we see that current business models with journalism are very kind of like clickbait business models where journalistic standards have kind of gone by the wayside in favor of users clicking on something for ad revenue. And we think that's created sort of an inflammatory political situation in a lot of places, or kind of any news is bad, or any news is good news, but more so bad news kind of gets you clicks, kind of gets you attention. So what we wanted to do was be able to cover news all around the world as it happens, and in a decentralized and democratized way. So we're trying to empower users of the HistoryDAO platform to basically use text, images, articles, video. Eventually we'll support video and audio, so you can imagine a live witness recording some event as it's happening and uploading it as an NFT on the chain. So that's kind of what we're doing at HistoryDAO with history NFTs. And I wanted to kind of get your take on sort of this direction and maybe this use case for NFTs.
Oh, great. So it's very great. You can do a meaningful thing. And actually, I hope I can solve it. So maybe in the future, we can give you also for history NFT a category on our website. We will support you like this very meaningful thing you guys do right now.
We would love that. Yeah, we'd love to have any exposure to you guys in your community. And obviously it's been great talking with you today. And yeah, I guess before we wrap it up, is there anything that you want to say, see? And yeah, give the floor to you.
Okay. It's never stop again that thank you, Sky, for inviting me to HistoryDAO to share our history also, and also the future, what we think about NFT marketplace and NFT industry. And it's my pleasure to behalf my team to introduce this. And I hope more and more people could involve in this industry ecosystem. We can support with each other. And also we will launch our, maybe in 1 or 2 months, like DAO. It's a DAO to hold each part of NFT, NFT companies and NFT ideas together. We can boom it out. So it will be a fantastic opportunity if you guys can come in with us. And also we invite all of the talents to join us. Yeah, it will happen in very fast time.
Awesome. Yeah, we can't wait. Keep us updated. We'd love to be there and be a part of it. So, okay, well, that wraps up our first episode of the HistoryDAO Founder Dialogue Series. Thank you so much, C, for coming on and talking with us today about NFTs and about Element.
Thank you, Sky. Thank you. Thank HistoryDAO. And thank all the audience. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, everybody. All right, we'll see you next time.
See you. Bye.
Bye.